We're going to go to it really quick. I'll let you copy that, http://bit.ly/DOTSBA. And if you don't know about bit.ly, you get a really big, long website and you don't want to write it all down, you copy and paste it, go to that website, it'll create a short link for you so your kids can, much easier for your kids to access the website. This is what it looks like. It'll say student uses. It'll give you videos to show you what they're actually talking about, so that's a great website to go to for this pen. Some of my favorite uses. If I was back in the classroom again, I would make what they're calling talking word wall or talking flashcards. You take a flashcard, you take the special dot paper that the pen comes with. We've learned that you can copy the paper so you don't have to keep buying the notebooks. And let's see if this works. Hold on. Yeah. Around. You can also, in a center, give a description of a book. If a student maybe has a little bit of trouble reading, you can actually see if they want to read the book.
Skateboarding Street by Connie Caldwell Miller. This book is a nonfiction work that describes the X Games street skating event, including the course, how the event is judged, tricks, and star skaters.
Okay, once again, that's an ESC teacher. She's created a worksheet. At the end, you'll see the dots, and the child is tapping on those dots to have those words read to them. If you have an ESC student that has a special IEP and they need the directions read to them, you can put that at the center, and it's being read to them. Makeup work, missed spelling test. I hated having when those kids missed that Friday spelling test, and I'd have to re-give it on a Monday. If I had fifth grade, I made a fifth grader give them the test. But this pen will allow you, as you're giving the test, use the pen to use it in your book to actually, number one. And you have to write a script or you have to really be prepared. I've got to make, hold on. I have one that I've made. And what I did is I would teach my class that every time I drew that triangle with sound coming out of it, then there's your directions. And I'll let you hear what that sounds like.
Getting ready to take a spelling test. I need you to put your name on the top of your paper, and I need you to number your paper from 1 to 20. At any time during these directions, if you need to take a pause, you may use the pen to tap the bottom pause button.
Each page has a directional pause, stop, take.
Okay, your paper should have your name on it, and it should be numbered from 1 to...
And I can hit pause. The student can hit pause. We can go to number 1.
To 20. Number 1, take. Please take the pen away. Take. You may hit the pause button as you write the word.
And no more giving that spelling test again on a Monday. Another one of my favorite uses of the pen is you can actually, as you're doing a math lesson, and you're using the pen to do that math lesson, and you're doing it on the document camera and it's being broadcast up, the pen is taking a copy of that math lesson. You then will upload the lesson to a website. You will provide that link to families. Yes, they have to have internet access, but they will actually see that math lesson come to life. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Whoops, no, I guess I'm not. I had a pen cast with a math lesson. Do I have time to go there? Let's go there. Let's see, pen cast your homework. Talking test.
Number 32 said talking test.
I saw that, but that's not what I want, but let's see what that looks like. It's actually a pen cast of the math lesson, and you see the math lesson come alive, and I thought it was in the presentation. That's not gonna link. I'll get it later, and I'll show it to you if I find it. Let's go on. Sorry. Okay, does anybody have any questions about the pen? But if you find them sitting around, and ask your administration if you can have that pen, and we can come back out and do a full training. The movies that we've been making, we've been using Animoto. Have any of you ever heard of Animoto? How many have used Animoto? Great. It's seriously easy to make a movie and put it together. I actually created one on Author's Purpose. That what we're trying to do is not only have us as adults use this presentation, but to have it where kids can make the product, and whatever skill that they're learning, now they're applying it. And what greater way to remember Author's Purpose. And it will be in slideshow, and it's free. You can sign up for an educator's account, and that's the website, http://animoto.com/education, and they'll provide you with 50 free accounts for your students. And they'll give it to you about like 180 days, and you'll have to, I think, reapply for it again. The music's there. Images are there also if you wanted to actually use that. And we're going to go there. And I'm already in. I'm going to go to my videos. And Author's Purpose.
It's an 8-legged, terrorizing predator, and the largest spider in the world, the Goliath tarantula.
The longest part of the process was actually deciding what was I going to use as examples for each one of those information or persuasion or thank you, entertainment. And basically, you download those off the internet. I borrowed some from Barnes & Noble, I borrowed some from other, the National Geographic, and that you incorporate them into the presentation. I'm gonna make a quick movie, and I'm gonna show you how fast it is. But I'm gonna use the images they have to save us time. So you're gonna go on to Animoto, and you're gonna sign up for an account. Once you sign up, you can create a video. They give you the background to choose from. If it says Pro, that's the one you pay for. So don't worry about signing up. They give you enough to choose that are free. You can go first to preview. So we're going to go to preview, see what it looks like. They give you music in some of them. You don't have to pick another song. You can use exactly what they've given you. So I like that, so I'm going to take it, I'm going to go create. Okay, so now it's telling me I have 3 steps. The first step is uploading photos. I can upload photos from my computer, from their collection, or I can get it from another website. Right now, to save time, we're going to go to from their collection. So we go select. We're going to go, they have images and videos stored. We're going to go to images. We're going to go to nature. And let's see, we'll go with bird for the sky. Show me that's what I'm previewing, that's what I'm going to take, so I'm going to hit done. So I've got a picture. Well, now I need a text to go with it. So down at the bottom is my menu bar. I'm going to add text, and I'm going to write or type. Up and away. I can do a subtext if I'd like or not. I'm going to leave it blank. I'm going to say done. When you get an educator's account, it's not just a 30-second clip. It can be longer. So you can't type more, but they can do more slides, the kids, if you're having them make it. I'm going to, for time purposes, that's enough. We're going to go to music next, and it says from their collection or from your computer. I'm actually just going to leave the song that they've selected, and I would tell my students if they were doing a presentation, I'd like them to pick an instrumental song so that there aren't any words that are going to interfere with their presentation. But all the music that's there is fine. The copyright, you don't have to worry about that at all. So we're going to leave the music alone unless it didn't give me one. Let's see, finalize. Customize your video. We're going to go continue. We're going to title it. And we're going to go create. It says I didn't have a song, so they didn't leave the one they picked. So I have to go back to music. I'm going to go from their collection. I'm going to go to electronica. And how about Eastern Sun? What does that sound like? Sounds good to me. We're going to go select, continue, continue. It's got the title, create. And that's it. They're taking over now. It does take about 5 to 10 minutes. That one won't take so long because I've only put like 1 picture in it. But the more pictures you put in and the more video you put in, the longer it takes to render. And if you heard anybody ever used iMovie? When it renders, so it takes a while. That's the longest part. But that's it. If your kids can use it, you can use it. Okay.
How do you store it?
They store it there. You can download it. To download it from the Yep. Go ahead.
So if you take this jump drive to another computer, is it going to be able to read it?
You can email. I emailed it to you. He emailed it to you. When you watched the original invitation, it was emailed.
That's widely.
Because it's on the web. Yeah, it is. I'm using what's called Prezi, and this is also another quick, easy, free slide presentation. However, because I'm very analytical, that's my personality, PowerPoint is a lot more, to me, streamlined. This is more in and out, in and out. But the kids would love it, and you'd really grab their attention, and they can make presentations. The website for this is http://prezi.com, and I've done one on figures of speech, and I'm going to show you that one. go to that one. Okay, we have figures of speech. We got lots of different examples of figures of speech. Similes. Like castles on the move, they tread the ground. Similes are comparisons. Another example, her eyes are as blue as the sky. Metaphors. And I geared this one more for middle school. He is a horse. Alliteration. Use of the same consonant at the beginning of each stressed syllable in a line of a verse. Around the rock, the ragged rascal ran. Hyperbole is the figure of speech in which exaggeration is used for emphasis or effect, as in I could sleep for a year. Personification. A figure of speech in which an inanimate object or abstract is endowed with human qualities or abilities. The lightning danced across the sea. Oreo, Milk's favorite cookie. Slogan for Oreo cookie. I actually found a rap that I could incorporate in this Prezi on figures of speech, and it's a great one. Why doesn't it want to load today? It usually doesn't take long to load. Maybe it's not loading from the network here. It's a really good wrap. If you teach figures of speech, you need to get this website down. It's a slow one. You understand every word. It gives every example. It's educational rap.com/song/figurative-language.html. That's too bad. Too bad. They had the whole presentation on the CD. You're right, so they'll have it. They should have accessed it. That's a shame. That's a good one, too. Sure.
On the link in order to get.
Yes, so what you do is if you have to make it an active link, you have to type http dot, close out of the program and reload it again, it becomes active. Okay, you know how you usually have to find a hyperlink? You don't have to find a hyperlink. This one, to make it active, http dot // close out of it and reload it. And if it's not on a straight line, it's not going to work. So stretch that bar out so it comes on a straight line. Because that's the other issue I had. I learned. When you're typing it, when you go to, I'll show you. I haven't shown you Prezi. Let's go back to making a Prezi. Let's go to New Prezi. And click on it. This is also free, by the way. This is your little maneuvering bar that you're going to utilize, and as the letters fill up, it's loading. You can actually start this. It'll give you a preview and it'll give you a little test on how to use Prezi, but I'm just going to go through it quick. It tells you, click anywhere and add an idea. I'm going to click. I can center it, right, left, put dots in front of it. Okay, I'm gonna click OK. Click here. So if I want to hyperlink http:// that's to find your cell phone. Okay, that's not active yet because it doesn't have that link, so if I actually hit exit, it's saving it. Waiting for Prezi.com. Okay, so I went out. See the line came down? So now I can go back, I want to edit it. Close that out. And it should be, it's active. Can you see that? Okay. I can add well, what I would do next is actually insert. So if I'm adding any kind of video files that I've downloaded, I would add that next, or my pictures. I can add shapes, so if I want to add an arrow, I can highlight. Sorry. I can connect lines. If I don't like where I position this word, if I click on it, oops, I get that, I can stretch it, I can twist it. And the more you turn it, when you're going to click on it in your presentation, that's when it zooms in and zooms out and twirls around. If I hit the plus sign, I can delete it, duplicate it, move it, bring it back, bring it forward, I'm going to delete it, it's gone. The last thing you know what, for the path, I'm going to put the colors. I can change it to night. To yellow. I can do Theme Wizard. They actually made it a little bit more that you can actually choose colors and stuff. And the last thing you want to do is that actual path. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and that's how it knows which way to go. Okay. You also can download this. Make sure you save it. It doesn't auto-save, so you want to make sure you save it as you're making it. You walk away. We also wanted to make sure you remember about World Math Day and My Capstone Library. All Title I schools have access. This one is a competition your kids can sign up for, and they compete with different kids from other countries in math. When my students at the school I last left, I wondered why they were running to the media center in the morning, because they wanted to get on the computer to compete against those kids. So it really spurs them in the media center. And the last one I want to mention is, this is another site that when we went to FETC, it's 100+ free internet resources for real teachers in real classrooms. Real quick, under language arts, if your kids ever have writer's block, and that's all on your CD. It's called 911 Writer's Block, and it has...
You have reached 911 Writer's Block, a writer's emergency service brought to you by WeBook.com. Our active community of writers is standing by to help. However, if this is a real emergency, please select from the following options for an urgent fix. Dial 1 for settings. Dial 2 for characters. Dial 3 for dramatic entry.
And there was one more on there. This is I don't know if we're going to get this was another good one. It was called Grammar Girls Quick and Dirty Tips. I tend to say tricks. I lost it now. Is this block 2? listen to it at home, it's a good one. Kids will like it. Okay.
The nice thing about Grammar Girls also is that Grammar Girls is also a podcast, so a way you can actually, I guess, sneak it in. And it's good stuff, so it's not gonna be bad.
It really
Sneak it
is.
in
It's a shame it's wrong.
Is if you have iTunes installed on your computer and you go to the podcast section, you can then have access to the Grammar Girls podcast.
Okay, I have 3 seconds to give some stuff away. If you can tell me one thing you learned today. Tell me one thing.
Three of us.
As.
Give me that thing.
How to do a hyperlink.
Create a video.
On, what's it called?
Animoto.
Animoto. Oh, I almost knocked her in the head. Freddie. Yeah.
Smart pen or a camera and tape recorder.
Woohoo.
This. This. You're talking about
This
L.
thing. Anybody else? Grammar Girl. Little map. Pulse pen. Woohoo.
My hands don't work.
I'll save the rest for Maurice. Thank you.
Yeah. Everything that Maurice presented is on your CDs. I see some of you busily writing. I'm not really sure why. Unless you're just adding your extra notes. You know, as Ms. Hodgins already know, I have a saying, I don't do paper. I honestly don't. I don't want paper. I don't want to have paper around. If you come to my desk, I think there's a sheet there that I need to get rid of, but there's usually not paper on my desk. I try to get everything digital, so we put everything on the CD for you that we're going to present. Except for this. Because this one is available online. This is just going to be a quick presentation that's going to follow up on what Marie's presented on some other technology tools that you can use. Now, the first thing I want to do though is, as I go into this, is I want you to, we're going to have to do a little mind shift, because most of us are used to thinking of this as a tool that we use to create. You know, whenever you think about if you want to write a document, if you want to make a movie, if you want to edit pictures, the first thing you think of is I have to go and I have to turn on my computer. After you turn on your computer, the next thing that's usually in your mind is a program that you want to run. And you'll look for that program on your computer. You'll open it up. This one is opening up Media Player to play music. And then after you open up your program and you edit, do whatever else you need to do, if you're really tech savvy, then you may have a USB drive, or if you just won one, you'll have one right now, that you can use. And this is all great, but believe it or not, if this is the work process that you're using, you're actually a little bit behind the times. I know some of you are saying, this is my first USB drive I have, and all of a sudden I'm behind the times. Because there's a whole new way of doing things where you're actually working inside of the browser on the internet. Now, the internet's been a great tool that's come around, but I think in some ways that, I don't want to say harmful, but in some ways it's changed the way that we've done things in education. When we first got computers, they didn't have internet access. We used the programs that were on the computers for the kids to create things. And we actually had them, we would open up Word and we have them write on the computer. Now, because we have the internet, we don't have them actually creating things anymore. We have them go to a website and do something, whatever the website's asking them to do. But I'm glad because the internet has gotten powerful enough now to where you can actually have them creating things online again. I mentioned a browser. And before I continue though, how many people in here know what a browser actually is? All right, only a couple. So I'll play this because it's an important point to know before we continue. So this is going to tell you about a browser.
A web browser is different from Windows or Mac, which are systems that allow you to manage files and programs. And it's different from a search engine, which is a website that is used to search the internet. Instead, a web browser is a program on your computer that allows you to visit websites. get to your web browser by clicking on its icon. From there, you enter web addresses, and the web browser displays the web pages for you. The web browser is the most important piece of software on your computer because every web page runs through it. So a faster web browser means that you'll save time on every web page you open. Installing a new web browser is free and only takes minutes. So take a moment to choose a web browser that you like best today.
Okay. Most of us are used to that big blue E that's over there at the corner, and we think that that's the internet. No, that's one web browser, and there are many other choices that are out there. Now, one of the choices that's out there is a web browser called Google Chrome. Let's see, one more. This one. And I like using Google Chrome, and part of the reason why I like using Google Chrome is because it allows me to run applications inside of the browser. I'm going to show you this video that's going to tell you a little bit about running applications inside the browser.
When the web started, websites were simple. They had text. When you were sick of text, you could have more text, and then an image, and then more text. The web, in essence, was about reading. Doing was reserved for programs you installed in your computer. Over time, though, websites evolved. They became faster and more responsive and added richer graphics, audio, video, and animations. Today, websites offer features that are pretty much like those found in applications installed from a CD. We can write and send emails, play games, edit photos, watch videos, and more. One of the cool things about web apps, as we call this new generation of websites, is that you never have to update them. Every time you visit Gmail, for example, you automatically enjoy its latest version with its newest features. And you can use web apps from any device with a browser. Your office computer, your personal laptop, even your phone. At Google, we designed our web browser, Chrome, specifically to run web apps, keeping it faster and up to date with the latest web features, like 3D graphics and apps that work offline. We've now taken Chrome's support for web apps to the next level with the Chrome Web Store, our new online marketplace. Try a web app from the Chrome Web Store, and you'll get a colorful new shortcut to this app in your new tab page. And don't worry, you can easily remove an app if you want to. There are thousands more apps waiting for you to discover them at chrome.google.com/webstore. Have fun exploring.
All right. So that tells you a little about what is a browser. The browser is a tool that you're using to access the internet. And then a web app is an application that runs inside of your browser. So I'm going to show you some web apps. Well, one more thing. This here is a web book called 20 Things I Learned About Browsers and the Internet. If you are a nerd, it is an absolutely fascinating book. If you are not a nerd, I still recommend you reading it because it's going to do a great job of teaching you about what exactly is the web, how exactly the web works, and it does it in a great way. It uses a lot of pictures and and has very easy language to understand. One of the web apps that I'm going to tell you about is Safari Montage. How many people here have Safari Montage at their school? Ooh, that's nice. Several of you do. So several of you are already familiar with Safari Montage. For those of you who do not have it, Safari Montage is a program that allows you to find videos online that you can immediately play inside of your classroom. Safari Montage is one of the web apps that both Marie and I have been trained on, so we can come out to your school and give you extra help on it. And if you're having any problems with Safari Montage, I'm actually the contact person for Safari Montage for the district, so you can contact me also so that I can help you out with that. This is going to be a list now of some web apps that are provided by Google. I use a lot of the Google web apps in part because they're free, which is always nice. And then the second reason why I use them is because they're really good. So free and good always are nice blends to have together. What I'm running this presentation right now in is one of their web apps, which is Google Docs. And this is a presentation that was completely made and put together in Google Docs. All the images, everything else. So the Google Docs main website, click on it here. I'm just going to take you here very quickly for you to see this is inside of my Google Docs, and these are just some of the documents that I have inside of it. I have a Google Docs I use for work, I have a Google Docs that I have at home, and now whenever I need a document, I don't have to wonder which folder I have it in my computer. I don't have to wonder which USB drive I saved it in. I can always have access to any document that I need. If I'm working on a document and I want to give other people access to that document, I can easily share that document. I'm going to open this one up here by pressing the share button here. And then I can share it to anyone who I want, and I can give them the rights to edit the document, or I can say, no, I just want them to view it. How many kids do you have that go home and say, you shouldn't give me any homework, I lost that paper, you know? Imagine now, instead of putting your homework on a piece of paper or putting it in their agenda, they can put it there also. You just create a page here in Google Docs. I'm going to close this. Go File, New, Document. Make it their homework. And then publish it to the web, and it automatically republish changes that are made. Start publishing. Yes, I want to publish it. And then share this link here, that's given right here. Share that link with your parents. Now, whenever the parents want to know what the homework is, they just go to that link. And whenever you want to update it, you just go back into your document. Press close here. Whenever you want to update it, you just go back. Of course, now it's giving me an error. Whenever you want to update it, you just go back into your document, start typing again, and when you press close, it publishes that document right back up. So now you don't have to worry about it. Were you have a question?
Is it only PDF or is it also Word or Mac? I mean, is it able to be?
That's the nice thing about it. Since it runs on the web, if it has a browser, you can run it. You have a Mac, you're at work and you're doing this on your work computer, you start writing it. You close it, you go home, you have a laptop at home, you open up your laptop at home, you continue writing. You close your laptop at home, you go over to a friend's house, they have a Mac, you open up their Mac, you work on it on their Mac. And you know what's really, really cool? You have an iPad, you go to google.com, open it up on your iPad, edit it on your iPad. Even if you have a phone, if you have a phone that has a fairly recent web browser, you can edit it there too. I mean, anywhere you want to edit your document, you can edit your document, which is really, really nice. Yeah, if you go to google.com/docs. This one is not cooperating. So that's an easy way to just make and share documents. Let's say you already have documents on your computer. You just press the upload button, and then you can actually just drag them right in there. Just drag them over. You don't, even if it's in a folder, just drag the whole folder over. It'll put them all up in Google Docs. So the next time you're writing your lesson plans, instead of writing your lesson plans and then forgetting them on your computer at home, and then going and having to ask that other teacher for their lesson plans, just drag that file up into Google Docs. You have a backup of it there, and then you can always just have it there at all times. Or if you are sick and you need to call in, you share it with your team leader or your principal or whoever else. They automatically have your documents. There's a whole lot more to Google Docs. I can come to your school and share even more if you would like. The other thing I want to show you that Google makes, and there's a ton of other tools, is a tool called Google Voice. Google Voice is a way for you to get an online phone number. Now, how many of you have ever used Google Voice before? Ooh, a couple of you. I see the online phone number intrigues some of you. This video is going to say a little
Over
bit about Google
time, humans
Docs.
have continually come up with new ways to communicate. And while we've come pretty far, there are still some things that don't quite work the way they should. For instance, consider voicemail, which you can only listen to by calling one number on your phone. It is stuck in your voicemail system, and it deletes itself automatically after 2 weeks. Or, say you're trying to reach a friend with a mobile phone, work phone, and home phone. Right now, you might call each number one by one, trying to find the person. And after you finally leave a voicemail, the guy has to call the right voicemail box to find your message. So we asked, what if telephony were reinvented today? The result? Google Voice. Google Voice gives you lots of cool calling features, no matter what kind of phone you have or which carrier you use. For instance, if someone calls your Google Voice number, you can have it ring all your phones, or none of your phones, depending on the time of day or the person calling. And if you let it go to voicemail, you can listen in before answering. Or just wait and read a transcript of the message, and maybe send a text message reply for free. And if you have an unwanted caller, it's easy to block them. The list of features goes on and keeps growing. Point being, in short, less annoyances and more awesomeness for free. So give it a shot. Visit google.com/voice.
All right. Now, when you think about applications for those things, you always have that parent that wants to call you and talk to you, and you don't want to give them your number because you know they will call you and talk to you all the time. But their kid also doesn't behave so well, so sometimes you do need to contact that parent, and you don't have a chance to do it when you're at school. You can sign up for Google Voice, give them your Google Voice number, then you can have it ring any phone that you want. You can have it ring your cell phone, but they won't have your cell phone number. They'll just see your Google Voice number. And if you want to call them back, you can call them back through the Google Voice number so that they never have your phone number. You could be at home, and if you don't have your cell phone with you, you can have it ring your phone at your house, however you want it to work. One of the really cool things that it does also is it does transcription. I'm going to try to give it a live demo right now. I'm going to call my number there, 609. I'm going to call my number and leave myself a message. Make sure I'm calling myself.